good athlete, but he could pitch well. So had a good arm, and they made him a pitcher. And in fact, he's in the Hall of Fame. He's a Hall of Fame pitcher, and he was on great pitching staffs with the Cleveland Indians. If you go back to especially 1954, the Indians won 111 games in the American League. 111 games. At that time, it was a record number of wins. And then they lost in the World Series to the New York Giants. And had that team won that World Series, I think people would have the baseball experts and cognoscenti, the people that follow baseball very close. I think they would have written more and thought more of that ball club. But you see, if you don't win you don't get the brass ring. You know how it is. You don't.
It doesn't mean jack.
You don't get the notoriety.
Yep.
Now, can you lay out for us your interview with Gaylord Perry?
Yeah, I spoke with Gaylord Perry. It was during an All-Star game, and I'm trying to think what I pointed out in the beginning about, and I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but I said something about being an All-Star, that he started for maybe the National and American League or something at one point. And he said, well, you're the first member of the press that remembered that and asked me that. Now, I, of course, as you guys know, I probably read about it or studied up on it a bit before I spoke with him. It wasn't because I was this genius, but he played with so many teams. He had was at an old timers game, and he had a uniform that had patches on it from all the teams that he played on. But I remember him primarily as a pitcher with the San Francisco Giants. Was an outstanding pitcher, and of course, he was always accused of throwing the spitball, and he'd take a little Vaseline or something he'd always move that hand around the back of his neck or his hair or whatever. I don't know if he had Vaseline behind his ears or whatever, but he certainly got the job done. A pretty good sized man, Gaylord Perry, and his brother was Jim Perry, who was pitched with the Twins, and he was an outstanding pitcher also, but not really on the same level as his brother Gaylord. That's one of the great names, isn't it? Gaylord Perry.
Yeah, gotta love it. It's like from Meet the Fockers, Gaylord Focker. Exactly.
Yeah.
One of my favorite.
Sounds like
movies.
He might be a butler or something, and say, we employed Gaylord Perry.
Good one.
Talking to Ron Gerrard, the author of A Game of Moments. Baseball greats remember highlights of their careers. And Ron, I'll get you out on this. Would you be able to describe to us your interview with Enos Slaughter?
I don't think anybody could describe an interview with Enos Slaughter. That was he was a real character. In fact, he said on the interview, it's in the book there, that it was at an All-Star game when I spoke with him, and he said that he still felt that he could get out there and play. And at that time, he must have been close to 80 years old. I'm not going to argue with him. And he said, well, by God, he was a country boy. In fact, they called him Country. That was his nickname. Yep. North Carolina, I believe he was from. He said, what the hell, I'll get out there and hit the ball. He said, make him chase after that. But he was known with the St. Louis Cardinals. I know he later played with the Yankees. But he was at the tail end of his career. But with the Cardinals, he was known for this mad dash to home plate. And
Johnny Pesky held the ball. I will never understand why.
But he said they shouldn't blame Pesky. And you'll have to read the interview. He'll tell you why.
All right.
He said, every time somebody talk about me, all they want to do is talk about when I run home. He said, hell, I did a lot of things. Hit 300 how many times? That's all they want to talk about.
All right, Ron, thank you for your time.
I appreciate it. You guys take good care of yourself. You do a great job with the show.
Thank you.
Good weekend.
All right, that was Ron Gerrard. His book is A Game of Moments. Baseball greats remember highlights of their careers. Let's take a quick break. But first, I got to tell you about a great show that we have on this station. It's called The Sock Hop. It's on Thursdays at 7 p.m. and Sundays at 5 p.m. It's one of my friend Jim's favorite shows on this station. Host Steve Dassa plays the Duprees, Randy and the Rainbows, the Platters, and other music from the early days of rock and roll along with information about the songs and the artists that made them famous. We'll be talking about the Super Bowl next on Beyond the Game on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Those serving in our military, they're the difference makers. Separated from family, enduring hardships far from home. Sacrificing for their country while serving in a different country. Well, for those of us who support our armed forces through the USO, we get to make a difference too. Through the USO, we get to be the force that delivers the phone call between spouse and deployed service member. The force that brings newborn and new parent together through a delivery room video chat. And the force that makes sure our military serving 7,000 miles away gets to watch the big game from a USO center. We get to be the force behind the forces, connecting them to every comfort of family, home, and country possible. It's a good feeling to make a difference. Visit uso.org/force to learn how you can be the force behind the forces.
Alexa, can you please do my food shopping today?
Food shopping today added to your shopping list.
Alexa, can you do my math homework for me?
I'm not sure.
Alexa, play WHPC.
Play WHPC.
You can now listen to the voice of Nassau Community College on your Amazon Echo.
Simply say, Alexa, play WHPC.
I am already playing WHPC.
Sorry. So go ahead and buy a silicone steamer in the shape of a faceless melting pig.
Buy a silicone steamer in the shape of a faceless melting pig.
Yeah, that exists. And while you shop, play WHPC.
Or buy a headband with a mullet hair attached to it.
I refuse to buy a headband with mullet hair attached to it.
Yeah, that exists too. Not sure why. But when you buy it, you can play WHPC.
So play WHPC on your Amazon device today.
And thanks for listening to 90.3 WHPC.
Jacob Volk. Jacob Volk.
I really can't take it anymore. You just got to embrace it at
You're
this
going to have
point.
to learn to love it. I've learned to accept you, Dominic. You have to learn to accept me.
I don't know if I could do that. It's a tall order.
You're listening to Beyond the Game on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. This show is on twice a week, Tuesdays at 5 p.m. and Fridays at 3 p.m. I'm Jacob Volk. You can follow me on Twitter at RealJacobVolk. Sitting across from me, Brandon Johnson, who you can follow on Twitter at StephJohnson_.
Yeah.
Dominic Arbolino, who you can follow on Twitter at Darbs5258. And Eric Fischetti, who you can follow on Twitter at Sergeant Fish. Number
Is
to
that
call.
funny, Dom?
That you find funny.
I just think about Sergeant Fish, and it's just like...
How about Sergeant Bilko? Do you like Sergeant Bilko?
No.
Sergeant Trout, is that better?
Oh, gee whiz. Number to call if you have something on your mind is 516-572-7440. And speaking of the phone, we do have a caller on the line. Caller, you're on Beyond the Game.
Yeah, how you doing? Richie from Shirley.
Hi, Richie. How are you, buddy?
Hey, good. This question is for Brendan.
Yeah, man.
Brendan,
Yeah, I'm here.
I would fly the Nick coach today and trade some players and get rid of the whole team.
Come on, Richie.
I'm telling you, come on. I'm so sick of this team already. I can't follow no more.
Yeah, I understand it. You know, the reason being is, I guess, on the road, we don't know, like, what we have to do on the road. That's the biggest problem right now.
Yeah, I know.
And, you know, Chris Dabbs, he does have to do a much better job. We and Eric was talking about this. Right now, currently, he's not really a superstar right now, I would say.
Yeah.
He's developing into one, but...
He's an all-star.
He's an all-star, but once he gets that mark where he knows for sure, definitely this is his team, and he just elevates...
They need to, let me tell you something. They need to make a lot of changes next year. I'm telling you right now.
I'm telling you right now, the one thing we won't have is Joakim Noah, who's just been a distraction this whole time.
Yeah, no. Do we still have to pay him his $84 million? We owe him or no?
Yep, you still have to pay him.
Yeah, he's just
We do?
excused from the team right now.
How disgusting is that? Okay, I'm going to give my prediction of the Super Bowl.
All right, sounds
All
good.
right.
Okay, Patriots 28, Eagles 14.
Okay, I'm very similar to you. I have Patriots 28, Eagles 17. So we're close.
I think the Patriots are going to destroy them.
You know what? I do too. Although, you know what? A lot of people have been counting out the Eagles. I think this is going to be a really good game.
Yeah.
I think so, too.
All right, guys. Take care of yourself.
Thank you, Richie.
All right. That was Richie from Shirley, and that was a really good call. While we're on the topic of the Super Bowl, guys, give me your thoughts on the game.
Who's going first?
Just roundtable. Come on, guys.
Okay. If you want me to be honest, I'm just really not looking forward to it.
Really?
I'm not, because I just want it to be over with. I'm looking forward to March.
Are you really that upset about the... Oh, I'm sorry, Dominic.
It's all right, but I don't know. It's the Patriots. Come on, we know.
Yeah, I hear it. I think the Patriots are going to win, but I think it's going to be a good game. It's the Super Bowl. I get into it. I don't care who's playing.
Look, as I'm pretty
sure... When it was Patriots-Giants, I watched it.
Even so, a lot of people don't really have a rooting interest in this, especially if you're a Giants fan, but I honestly say this is going to be a really close game.
We do have another caller on the line. Caller, you're on Beyond the Game.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Martin from Merrick. How are you?
Okay, how are you?
Doing good. What's on your mind?
Well, first, good author at the last segment.
Thank you.
So, here's my question. Last night, I actually was able to sit down and watch the two Bills, the ESPN 30 for 30.
Yeah, so did I.
And I was wondering if there's somebody now who would be Belichick to Belichick.
In terms of which sport, Martin?
No.
Football?
Someone who... I'm sorry, I misunderstood your question.
In other words, is there somebody now who's acted as a mentor to another coach and is now essentially opposing him?
Are you talking about Parcells' influence on Belichick?
Yeah, that's what he's talking about. That's a very good question.
Well, I'm going to answer that very good question.
Okay.
Jim Schwartz.
Yeah, but Schwartz isn't the head coach, though. I see your point. I totally see your point. Josh McDaniels is going to be head coach of the Colts. Matt Patricia is going to be head coach of the Lions. So you've got the influence there. Mm-hmm. You know what? The reality is the Belichick coaching tree isn't that great. It's not horrible. Don't get me wrong. It's not like the Phil Jackson coaching tree.
Right.
But it's not that great. Romeo Crennel did nothing. Al Groh did nothing.
And he did nothing with the Jets.
Yeah, 9-7 1 year, and then he bolted for Virginia. I'm still not over it.
But
although the Jets got Herm Edwards after that, so that was pretty good. I liked Herm Edwards.
Well, I'm glad you did, but I think there's more to Schwartz than that there's more Belichick and Schwartz than Belichick would like to admit.
I think Schwartz is a solid coach. I just don't know how he'll do as a head coach. We saw him fail in Detroit, but then again, we saw Josh McDaniels fail in Denver, and he's getting a second chance. If you want Schwartz to get a second chance, that's fair. I don't have too much of a problem with that.
Yeah, but realize when Schwartz first got to Detroit, everybody was hurt. It took him a couple of years, but remember, Schwartz also had a fantastic finish to his second year in Detroit. I think he won all 4 games in December.
Yeah, that sounds right. Schwartz underachieved with the talent he had, but he was a fiery guy. I remember one time him and Jim Harbaugh went at it after the game. It was I forgot who, but someone shook someone's hand too hard, and it ticked the other person off, so that was fun.
Mm-hmm. And if I remember correctly, in Schwartz's third year, they made the playoffs.
They did make the playoffs under Schwartz. Yeah, against the Saints. Yeah, you're right. All right, Martin, thanks for the call.
Have a good day.
You too. All right, 2 good calls in a row. I like that. But let's get to the Super Bowl. Guys, seriously, come on. Give me your thoughts on the game. Let's go.
This is going to be very close, honestly. Again, if you're probably not an Eagles or Patriots fan, as probably a lot of people aren't, it's not going to be of rooting interest, but I have a hard time counting out the Patriots, especially on the offense side of the ball with Tom Brady at the helm. I am going to say that the Eagles are going to put up a fight. I'm going to say, honestly, 28-20.
28-20. Okay.
And you know what? That's a fair argument, Eric. When I look at this Super Bowl and I see how everything worked out, this whole playoff series, the Eagles, defense, averaging opponents to 8 points per game. The Patriots getting away with a lot of calls on defense, always the referees are in their favor, but still, they played great on offense. Tom Brady still has enough time in the pocket to, come back and beat Jacksonville in the end of that game. So this game this week, they got robbed back. I'm going to have to go with the Patriots, man. I can't believe in my gut I'm going to have to say that.
Do we have a score? Have you thought about a score?
I never really thought about a score. I just think a close game, but because I feel like the Eagles' defense will, I think, get pressure on Tom Brady, but I feel like Tom Brady and the amount of options he has and the way how the defense somehow, some way, they find a way to win the game. Even though this postseason they haven't gotten a turnover yet on defense, but I think this will be the game, especially preparing against a backup quarterback in Nick Foles, which I'm not knocking him down. He played great throughout the playoffs. I just feel like if Carson Wentz was there, I think, definitely it would have been an annihilation.
Now, let me ask you...
But it's not that case.
Let me ask you a question. While we're on the subject of Foles and Wentz, are they both back in Philly next year?
No, Foles is gone.
Both?